Hey, Mike. Thanks for coming on the show
Thanks
today.
for having me.
You bet. Well, it's really exciting to talk to you about the Basin Burnout. I've never actually been,
Okay.
but I've heard a lot about it, and it looks pretty exciting.
It is exciting. This is going to be our eighth annual Basin Burnout. We started back in 2016 and did four events before COVID. Took a couple years off for COVID, and then we started back up. And this will be our fourth one after COVID. So yeah, we're excited about it.
Were they all music festivals, or have you tried different types of events?
They've all been pretty much the same theme as far as a barbecue cook off with a music festival to follow. We typically have anywhere from 30 to 40 cooking teams, and we have day entertainment that play on a stage, and then we have a headliner with an opener at night. So we typically close out the barbecue event around 5:30, and then and from there we have our headliner come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's grown every year
It
pretty
is.
significantly, hasn't it?
In the last 3 years, it's really blown up. We I think we had 12 cooking teams the first year, and that was out at, the Cimarex Pavilion, and, then we had a little headliner after that, so it's definitely taken off in the last 3 years. We had probably close to 4,000 people attend last year's event, down at Centennial Park, and, we are expecting probably close to 7,000 this year. So,
Wow. And
yeah.
it's at the Horseshoe this year?
It'll be at the Horseshoe this year. We kinda outgrew where we were this
That
past
okay,
year.
that's what it seemed like. You needed a little bit bigger venue.
We did. It was a great, venue. Felt really, connected with the community. A lot of the, businesses around, especially right here in front of your building, and, yeah, really enjoyed it, but it just seemed like it was busting at the seams, and we needed to find a spot, and the Horseshoe is a great venue. We have plenty of spots for plenty of cooking teams, and then we'll be able to either have our concert at night, either in the amphitheater outside, which holds about 4,500 people, or we can take it inside if ticket sales, produce us. If they, we can hold like 7,500 inside. So
Okay. So, I
yeah,
mean, definitely
our
there's
goal is to go inside.
room for growth.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. You
absolutely.
wanna grow into that
That's
that
right.
indoor
Right.
venue. Well, is there a reason you think it's grown year over year? It's just more people finding out about it or the
It's more people finding out about it. Our marketing campaign has definitely grown. We brought on a new project management company this year, EMW out of Lubbock, and Kelly Kingston. She's been our project manager this year. The tailgate last year, I'm sorry, in 23 and 22, really helped us kind of, put us on the map when we had our event there. And then it's just like I said, word of mouth, and our marketing campaign has definitely taken off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's all for a great cause, right?
I think so. And in the very beginning, we kind of looked for a cause. We brought on CASA at first, Court Appointed Special Advocate, and then we kind of started looking for kind of a home, and my dad's a veteran, and so it just was a natural fit for me and for the organization. And we've been very blessed to have really good charity partners. Real Thanks is a local veterans charity. They do a fishing trip there about 4 times a year down at Lake Amistad, and they really treat our veterans with just a lot of good fun and a lot of good fishing. So we've been supporting them for since the beginning, and then we brought on a charity called Boot Campaign 3 years ago. Was that right? Yeah, 3 years ago, and they were starting a local chapter out here and needed some help. And Larry Hinkle was coming on our committee. He was part of Boot Campaign, and so we partnered with them, and that partnership's definitely grown. They have a bigger footprint, and so they're able to reach a little bit more
Mhm.
audience than most, and so it's really worked out great. And then we also provide funds for some local charities, the VFW, Toys for Tots, and things like that. But those are our two main
Yeah.
charities here.
Yeah, and it's something that I found, especially as long as I've been doing my podcast, there's so much that just seems to continue to grow for veterans.
Right.
So many resources, so much, not just the funding, but the support.
True. Yeah, and I mean, it's a very large, charitable organization as far as a lot of them out there, and you really have to find the right one
Yeah.
that fits what you're looking for. And we feel like these two have definitely hit the mark for us. There's a lot of charity organizations, reaching out for charitable dollars in the organization, especially here in the Permian. So that is part of the struggle, so to speak, so to speak, in what we're trying to do. But and, our veterans need our help. So
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because I mean, military veterans, like, they serve our country,
absolutely,
and they come home, and to have that support
right,
in so many different ways, and I do think it is a lot about finding your people,
right,
finding your group, and finding where you feel comfortable to where you're making this transition, you're growing into a civilian life and having an industry
right,
where you can grow and thrive. And there's a lot of similarities. I have had military veterans come on my show, and they talk about the similarities from being overseas, being, being in their different military
right.
branches, and the similarities of working in the field or being in this industry.
In the oil field provides it's a big home for a lot of veterans out
Mhm.
there. In fact, I work with a couple of veterans, uh, and then on our board we have Russell Johnson, and my vice president is a former Marine. You can't say ex-Marine; you have to say former Marine. But so we have um, and again, like I said before, my father's a Army captain, flew Hueys in Vietnam. So they're all around us. We got to find them, we got to help them, and we've raised last year. We raised a little over $160,000 for veterans charities, so that the community stepped up and has really done a great job helping our veterans.
Wow,
Yeah,
yeah, and I know Russell, he definitely advocates for you guys, and
sure,
he really believes in it, and you can tell when you talk to him,
right,
there's, like, real heart there.
absolutely.
Not just that he is served, but, he wants to help others.
Yeah, I mean, these guys made the the big sacrifice, and some of them made the ultimate sacrifice, and so, I mean, it's the least we can do,
Yeah.
and, so, yeah, it's great. It fills you with pride every time that, we hold this event. My family, my wife, they know the dedication in this and the, sacrifice that the committee and that we all make, and it's a lot, but, I mean, and when you see, the benefits of the sacrifices that a lot of these people are making, it's just, yeah, why not do it? It's great.
I agree, and it's something that it's when I've been invited to attend certain events or trying to like be a part, because I haven't been doing my podcast that long, but as long as I've been doing it, I've actually had a couple different opportunities to attend veteran events, whether it be a
Right.
fundraiser, some type of social gathering, and it is very prideful because you're doing something where you're honoring people that have made a sacrifice
Sure.
indirectly for you,
Yeah.
and so for you to be able to give back, and so like you said, the oil and gas industry, the oil field is home to a lot of military veterans, and so having these organizations and charities and different events that are
Right.
held in their honor, and it's like really bringing that sense of community together.
Absolutely right. The Permian Basin Association of Directional Drilling is the organization that is the host organization. It's the organization that I'm president and have been president since the beginning. That the Basin Burnout is our fundraising event each year, and so it was a way for us to kind of tap into the oil field community, which again they do just a tremendous job of supporting the veterans. But it was kind of low hanging fruit for us. We already knew that a lot of these companies, oil field service companies, were cooking for rigs or cooking for their customers, and they love to compete and they love to do
Yeah.
barbecue, right? And so just a natural fit to bring the oil field community back to the Permian, not back to the Permian, but to support the Permian Basin, support the community. And that's why we thought, what, why not have a barbecue competition? And
Yeah.
these guys love, I mean, it's an amateur competition. We're not sanctioned. They're not gaining any points through Lone Star or Kansas City barbecue, but they're competing, they're having fun, they're feeding the community. And, they do a great job.
Yeah, and I can see that, and it seems like that's something that's like pretty popular
Right.
in the Permian to do some type of competition. Because I agree with you
I mean,
that,
who
like,
doesn't love barbecue, right?
yeah, exactly, and it's like, I don't think that there's too many,
Right.
and it's like they're all very unique, and,
Sure.
the different ones, like, serving, a heartfelt purpose,
Right.
or, offering that community outreach in different ways, and so it's a way that, everybody's not doing the same thing,
Right.
but it's all in, that similar fashion, to where it's supporting in unique ways, but everybody can go to all of them.
Yeah.
They can support, and you can support your military, you can support different charities and different organizations, but like with what you're doing with Basin Burnout, what you guys have been doing, growing year after year, a music festival with a barbecue competition. I mean, it's really something to look forward to, especially right here at the beginning of the year. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I didn't get the chance to go last year. I
Right.
think I had just learned about it, like, days before it was happening, but it's like a great way to end the first quarter,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know?
We've struggled with trying to find that great time, I mean, obviously, today's weather's,
Oh, that would not be great.
it's horrible, but
No, sir.
last year was, we had 40-mile-an-hour winds during the day of the burnout, but, people still came out and supported the
Yeah,
event.
because you just know, I mean, there's
Yeah.
always the chance that it's gonna be
We've had
windy
it
like this.
We've had it, in the middle of summer, nobody wants to be cooking
It's pretty hot.
barbecue, at
Yeah.
110-degree weather. We've had it in the fall. We just kinda found the end of March, early April timeframe works out best for everybody, and so we're excited. We've got a great headliner this year. The band Midland is headlining for us, and, the a new kinda up and comer, Louis the Singer is gonna open up, and then we've got a returning guy that's been a big supporter, of us, got a guy named Cannon Bryce that's gonna open up for them, so great lineup, and then we'll have some local bands, No Dry County, and some other guys that are playing during the day, and so there'll be a lot of vendors out there. There'll be a lot of, like I said, hopefully between 35 and 50 cooking teams, and, the community comes out and definitely represents, so.
How do you guys judge the cooking competition?
That's a great question. We're again, it's not a professional event, so all of our judges are amateurs. If you want to be a judge this year, we'd love to have you.
Okay.
It's a lot of good food. Last year the team that won, that's the best brisket I've ever put in my mouth. It was so good.
Yum.
Yeah. So, but it's we usually have anywhere from 50 to 75 judges throughout. There's 5 competition team or categories. We have a brisket category, a pork category, a chicken category. We have a steak category, and then we have an open category, which is a lot of fun. Everybody gets to kind of cook whatever they want to. There's really no guidelines on that. And then we have a fans favorite. So, the community gets to come in and judge. They're the judges about who has the best. And a lot of times the teams aren't necessarily, what they turn in for their competition is not necessarily always what they cook for the community. So there's a lot of, gumbos and jambalayas and stuff like that out there too. So, that's fun. But yeah, so much good food. So you got to come hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll be planning on it
All
then. I
right.
think that
I'll
would be a
put you
lot of
down.
fun. You should
Yeah.
definitely count me in
Okay.
to be a judge. Did you know, speaking of all of that, something else that's interesting about doing the barbecue competition is thinking about all the different types of people that work in the Permian
Absolutely.
that come from different different backgrounds. And so I mean, you're getting some Louisiana flavor. You might have some people from
Well, I'm
Mississippi.
from Louisiana, so there you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got to throw that in there.
Yeah, and so it's like you're getting to not only and just enjoy good Texas barbecue, you're
Right.
getting to enjoy barbecue of all walks of
So
life.
it's interesting you say that because the directional drilling industry, which is what I'm in, um, there's a big connection with Louisiana with the directional drilling, and so a lot of these guys are coming back and forth between South Louisiana and West Texas. So you're starting to see a lot of that great
Oh,
Louisiana
yeah.
flavor coming out this way for
Oh, I
sure.
love that. And I wouldn't
Absolutely.
have made that connection. And so, like, even thinking about it in that way, it's like that entire culture coming over here, working in this part of the
So
industry.
have you ever had crawfish?
Oh, yes, I've
All right.
definitely had
Okay.
crawfish.
Yeah, you got to have that crawfish.
And I think that's definitely a cultural favorite across the board. I
Mm,
know crawfish boils. I mean, they're great networking events out here. I mean, they're great. They're great fun. A lot of people and just enjoy the environment of
sure.
that. But did that originate in Louisiana? Is that where that?
It did for me. I don't know. I don't know what the history is. I was trying kind of a transplanted Louisianian, so
I gotcha.
yeah, not my family's not originally from there, but
But I know that, like, Cajun
sure.
flavor is obviously Louisiana,
Hmm.
and crawfish is there's a lot of Cajun seasonings that go
Sure.
into crawfish. Now,
Oh, absolutely.
clearly, I'm not well versed in crawfish, but
Right.
I've obviously had it, and I'm familiar with, a lot of the
and it's different too. There's different spices, right? So, kind of getting off on a different tangent here, but the Louisiana spice is different than West Texas spice. That cayenne heat's a little bit different than that jalapeno heat. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's true.
but
Well, and like getting to bring all that out here, it's like the guys that are participating in the barbecue competition, they are getting to, have that light shined on them
absolutely.
and their skill
I mean,
and
and who doesn't love competition?
right.
These guys really love to compete,
Mhm.
and
Well, and a lot of them make their own grills
oh,
and
absolutely.
smokers.
We have a favorite pit competition as
Oh,
well.
that's fun.
Yeah, and so these guys, they definitely they represent for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, and I love that because of course I've worked in the field and so I can only imagine them and the excitement and the anticipation of the event
Oh yeah.
of getting to go.
Oh yeah, we're getting calls daily now just as
Really?
they're excited, they're getting prepared for the event. And yeah, I mean a lot of these cooking teams, they'll compete in all 5 categories. And so yeah, it's a big event for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it breaks up. I mean, of course, it's giving back and it's doing all of these great things. But then I also look at the workers and the people that are attending the event. It breaks up your monotony and it gives you something to look forward to and participate in, and to feel that sense of community on a completely different level.
Yeah, I mean, we see all types at our event, from the service side of the business, from the oil and gas business to the operators, the drilling engineers, again, everybody's affected by the oil and gas industry out here, but they all come out and so you'll see all sides of the industry for sure.
Hmm.
It was just kind of a low hanging fruit, so to speak, for us to tap into that service side because they already have the cookers, they already are going out to rigs and cooking for companies, and so we just thought that, what a great, opportunity for them to come out and showcase what they can do because a lot of these guys, you know, do it for fun, but they compete too.
Yeah.
So, and they compete in, the barbecue, competitions all year long. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah. So much fun. And I mean, great team building skills, for the
absolutely.
guys and, the companies that support their team. And it's really just a great way, I think, to
And
bring
a
people
great way to
together.
let loose too.
Yeah. And to relax and have a
Yeah.
good
I mean,
time.
if that's, what we do the best of is we have a good time. And,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work that we put into it, committee that we have, but, the day of and right after is a lot of fun because we let loose and we have a good time.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
definitely something I'll be looking forward to as well. Now, this is March 29th.
March 28th and 29th. So the
28th.
29th is the day of the competition and then our
Okay.
headliner that night. The 29th or the 28th, that Friday night, we have what we call a VIP party. It's our smokers and sponsor salute party for our sponsorships, sponsors, and our cooking team.
Oh,
So
that's fun.
just a private event to kind of say thank you for those guys.
Oh, that's really going the extra mile.
It is, and we bring in our charities so they can kind of highlight, this is where your dollar's going. This is where your sponsorship dollar, your cooking team dollar is going, and they're able to during the day of it's hard for
Yeah.
anything else to really happen besides what's going on. So it's a way for boot campaign for real things to kind of really get up there and talk about hey, the impact that this sponsorship dollar is going towards each veteran that goes through their program, and so it's a great way for, these guys to see what's going on.
Hmm.
They wanna know where their dollar's going.
Yeah, and I think that's
Yeah.
important because, I've donated to charities where it's, you go to a website,
Yeah,
you click donate, you put in your
and it's
amount
gone.
and it's gone and it's like you feel good
Yeah.
like you've contributed but like you don't really know where your money went and unfortunately there are
There's some
circumstances
bad
out
actors
there.
out there too.
There's some bad
Yeah,
actors to where like you're not really giving your money where you think you are.
exactly
Your
right.
heart is in the right place, but you may or may not be being misled.
Yeah. You're 100% right, and it's a struggle too. I think it's very important for our organization to be very transparent with what, and the responsibility that we have, with the money that they're giving us to hold an event like this, but to also raise money for the veterans that we say we're doing, and we want our repeat customers, so to speak, to know exactly where that money's going,
Yeah.
and that's what that party really does.
And I think that by doing that, it gives it even more value and it puts that personal connection
Right.
to it to where you really can see that difference. And I think that I've seen that a lot more in the Permian where you see like the money is being raised here and it's being used here.
Right.
And so that is it's just such a great feeling and a great way to get involved.
And that was part of the thought process when we started looking at what we wanted to do is from a fundraising standpoint was how can we give back to the community, especially the Permian Basin. Permian Basin has given so much to us, and so an event like this, we wanted to make sure that we it wasn't a private event, that it was open to the community. So
Mhm.
your families, bringing the whole family out to the event is part of what we try to accomplish
Yeah.
and make it a family friendly event. We'll have kids activities out there so that they aren't left out. So if you want to bring your kids, you want to bring your dog, whatever it is you want to bring, come
Oh,
on
that's
out.
awesome.
Yeah, and kids under 12 get in for free. So and the
That's good.
veterans, we'll have a discount for the veterans to get in at a discounted price. So yeah, we're really trying to make sure that everything that we do gives back to the Permian.
Yeah, I mean, all from the bottom to the top,
That's
like all
right.
the kids and the
That's right.
dogs too.
It's a lot going on. There's
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Well, I mean, like you're in your fundraising season,
Right in the middle of it.
and so there's still room for sponsorships and ways to get
Absolutely.
involved.
Yeah, we have plenty of opportunities. Everything's on our website at basinburnout.com. All sponsorship levels, all cooking team levels. We have 2 cooking team levels, and we have platinum and gold. The difference in the platinum is you get a VIP table of 8 versus, the gold. But, yeah, we have plenty of room for teams. We have teams coming back. All of our repeat teams from last year hopefully be back this year, and then we'll add a few more. We have a lot more space at the Horseshoe. We were very limited in space at Centennial Park this
Mhm.
past year. And they did a great job for us, but yeah, I think we outgrew it. So we're going to be putting all the teams on the north side of the venue, and they have free reign out there, so it'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great way to get involved, and there's plenty of space for people to get their companies registered and
Yeah,
sponsor.
vendors, so if if you have a boutique or, like I said, the whole community is invited to come out and to participate in this event. So we'll have vendors out there as well. We have, face painting for the kids, and I know the Marines will be out there doing their pull-up
Oh,
competition.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think we'll have, well, I think don't quote me on this yet. We're working on this, but we'll hopefully have the National Guard bringing in helicopters and stuff like that. So it'll
Really
be really cool.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just
yeah.
I hope that happens
I hope
because
so.
that would be really
Yeah,
special.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys are really pulling out all the stops and making it special for everyone. And you do have a fantastic team
We
that
do.
you're working with. And I've been fortunate enough to get to work with some of them, being
Yeah,
invited to participate in the Women in Energy panel in November,
yeah. It was a great
and
event, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was so great. It was so much fun and so educational, and really was just a nice afternoon. And getting to experience that was something that, like, I mean, really, like for me, I'd never done anything like that.
well, shout out to Tabor Wood. He was our committee chair.
Yep,
He
that's what
did.
I was gonna say. He's the
Yeah.
person that reached out to
He
me.
does a he's kind of a quiet guy in the background,
Hmm.
and but he's a hard worker and he does a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was so like, when he invited me, like, I accepted right away. I was like, "Absolutely, I would love
Yeah.
to do that." He does have a
Think you might have been the first one to accept, so.
I think I was. I was ready to go.
Right.
But, and then it just got all fleshed out, and there were so many different,
Yeah,
women that participated, and it was very, diverse.
sure.
There were a lot of us, like, there was no one that was the same, and it just added so many different great flavors that blended. But, Tabor had reached out. Of course, I talked to Russell a little bit in the interim somewhere, but then you mentioned Kelly Kingston.
Yes.
She helped put everything together. I don't know what all she did. I'm sure she did a lot, but she is very detail
Very
oriented
detailed.
and very on top of what she's doing.
Yeah, she's a boss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, she's awesome. I really liked her too.
She controls all of us for sure.
And she was, I mean, because I wasn't doing something right. And it was a setting on LinkedIn, and it was something to where she wanted to list me as one of the speakers.
Right.
And I couldn't accept an invitation. That's what it was, because I had accepted the invitation, but I had to do something to be able to be listed as a speaker. And she would follow up. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. And she showed me that there was something in LinkedIn that I had to go
Right.
in and change the setting. And sure enough, She was right, and I got educated on that because I'm always trying to get better on LinkedIn because that's where I'm, promoting
Yeah,
everybody, and there's so much that's behind the scenes and in the background where I'm like, I'm not aware of any of this, and so I really appreciated her diligence on
right,
it, or I would have never figured that out because I'm like, I don't know what
right.
the problem is.
We brought, the company that she's affiliated with, EMW, Everyman Media Works, we brought them on, I think 3 years ago, and, really we're just using them for our marketing, and, she shined.
Mhm.
You can tell, and so last year after the event, she's a huge Scott Stapp Creed fan. That's who our headliner
Oh,
was
yep.
last year, and she came to our event. She lives in Houston, and, she was so excited about it, and she said, we want in, more than what we're doing now, and so we really talked to her, and we brought them on more of a as a project management. They still do all of our marketing for us, but, she's top notch.
Yes, she
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
The way you all presented us
Mhm.
and, I mean, shared each panelist and some background. It was very professional, and it was exciting. There was a lot that was leading up to it, and of course, I was sharing everything. And, the actual event and, Krista Escamilla being the
She's
moderator,
great, isn't she?
she is.
Yeah,
I had never met her, and I just, like, I mean, the whole thing was just fun, I mean,
yeah.
she had everything just, like, moving fluidly through all of, like, everybody got a chance to speak and participate and had a little bit of a light shine. I mean, she does a good job with all
She
of
did,
that.
and it's interesting, I say interesting. It was probably our most well-attended, event of the year, and then, the feedback after the event was extremely positive, and I think we'll continue to do it. But, yeah, Krista did a great job. I think the mayor was great.
Yeah.
Every panelist
Yes,
was
Mayor Blanc. Well, and I mean, she spoke a lot of very powerful,
absolutely,
really affirming words for us and for everyone
sure,
about being present now. Your calling is now,
right.
and like really like her being invested in oil and gas and her background and her company, and then being the mayor of Midland. I mean, she really spoke in such an eloquent way
Right.
where it resonated with everyone, and she's so supportive and uplifting, and of course, I got to sit next to Susie Boyd
Oh, yeah.
and Maria from Ulterra, and I just felt like, I mean, I was so immersed
Yeah.
in all these different cultures and talking to everyone, and so it was really fun to be a part of.
So, I was impressed with every single one. I do have a few relationships, professional relationships with Susie Boyd and I sat on the, Green Tree board together. I served as president, and then
Okay.
she was, uh, my second in command, so to speak, and then she's actually serving this year as the first female president of Green Tree,
Oh, that's so
Country
awesome.
Club,
I can see that.
and we worked hand in hand last year, and it was just very eye-opening to see how, professional she is, detail-oriented, but very knowledgeable about, the business aspect of everything that she does,
Mhm.
and she's a true asset to Green Tree and, kinda breaking down that barrier. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at the wall of presidents, and there's not a female on that wall, and she's the first one.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so
Since
awesome.
1980, 81. So
She's so cool.
she is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she runs a great company, Cabello Local Midstream,
Mhm.
and, everybody on that panel. Melissa Wicker's been a friend of mine for a
Yep.
long, long time. Back when I first moved here in 1996, I met her and Cody, her husband, shortly thereafter, and we've been friends ever since. And now she's president of the chamber, and she's just been a big part of this community forever. There's just a ton of I mean, the 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 source of people we could have had on that panel was huge, right?
Yeah.
The pool, of people, and, at the end, we just had to start saying, "I'm sorry, but we'll try to get you next time,
Oh,
next year."
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can only have a few, I think we had 8 right?
9, I
9 on
believe.
the panel. That
Yeah.
was probably max, right?
Yeah,
And so,
'cause like you said, I was one of the first ones there for a little bit, and
yeah,
I just like it seemed to explode from there,
yeah,
getting up to 9, but the diverse viewpoints and experiences,
right,
and I mean, you just like listening to all of our stories and, like where we all came from, and, like Melissa, of course, like she was dropping a lot of really great real estate
sure,
knowledge, and then, Yoga Street Pradhan, she had been on my show before. She is very smart, very, very knowledgeable on so many levels. And, she shared a lot of wisdom. And I enjoyed listening to her. And it was funny because I was thinking about because she was one of my early guests on my
right,
podcast. And then listening to her on the panel, I'm like, there was so much more that, I could have talked to her about. But at that time, I was still just trying to get started. But it was really cool to reconnect with her and to listen to how she was,
right.
just so on top of everything and had so much to offer.
And I was talking to Susie afterwards. I mean, I think she's mentoring one of the young ladies, that was present at the event. So, I mean,
I could
just
see
to
that.
see that happening is
Yeah.
really cool. Because I think there's so much knowledge to be shared.
Mhm.
That, like you said, there's so many different backgrounds that were on that panel. But there's a lot of commonality that you saw kind of weave throughout it, and just the hurdles that you had to overcome to get where you are. It's not usually a friendly business, friendly industry for uh, for females, and just to kind of see the things that everybody overcame to get to where they were and being successful in everything that they're doing is really cool to see.
It really was, and I think everyone what was funny is because, like, the kind of the theme was how we've overcome challenges and, made it to where we are. Everyone was so positive and, excited about where we are now. It
Right.
wasn't so much about how hard it's been on all of us because, Susie, of course, she was talking about the early days and,
Oh yeah.
what wasn't available on location and, what it would be like, but it was all with such a lighthearted, reflective, just in passing. It wasn't it's like so, hard nosed,
Right.
and it was just like this is the way it was and this is the way it is now. And and then there was Carlisle. She is very hardworking and
Yeah.
she does her security company and had a lot to offer talking about being in the field
Yes.
and like really being dedicated to her customers. And I mean, it takes a lot to be able to withstand all of that. And a security company, I mean, that's 24-hour
Yeah.
and, being on call and still offering such like great humor
Oh yeah.
and, resilience. And then Mandy, she had her trucking company that she's recently started. And so she was talking about how she developed that. And I had talked to her also
Sure.
before the events or the panel started, and she was saying, she'd worked for another company and she'd gained all this knowledge, and so she had the opportunity to start her own company. I believe her and her husband,
Right.
and she had such an eloquent way of talking about her success, and so I really found it refreshing how we were all just so uplifting
Sure.
of ourselves and each
Very
other.
supportive. Yeah. It was great. I think Mandy actually is, she's sponsoring the Basin Burnout. So,
Is she?
hey, there you go. Right. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's awesome.
Yes. It's so, we took a lot away from that. Kelly and her company videotaped it, and so we've put that on our website. And there's just a lot of great nuggets of wisdom that came out of
Mhm.
that, and so I think we'll continue to do it. We do about 4 forums a year, quarterly. Obviously the Basin Burnout takes up a lot of our time. These are all volunteer people that are on the committee and that sit on the board. And so we try not to overwhelm them too bad. And there's a lot of great organizations out there that are doing, what we call educational forums, and that's what the Permian Basin Association of Directional Drilling is. Is we're an educational nonprofit, and so we've tried to bring the oil field service companies and the operators, the oil and gas operators together, and new technologies or these type of networking events, and try to bring them together, like I said, about 4 times a year.
Well, and you had said that it's a 501(c)(6),
6.
not a C3,
Right.
and so is that a requirement to do something that or like a fulfillment for the educational
Right,
part
for
of
the
that?
educational part of it. Yeah.
I love that that's like just taking it up another level.
Right.
Because there was so much, like you said, like, I can see, like, the panels are fantastic, and I think that was a great thing for, everybody to get to come out, and then there was the engagement with the audience and some back and forth where we were all giving our input,
Right.
but, I mean, of course, a lot of your energy's going into the fundraising event, and there's a lot for that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. No, I mean, it's tricky. It's trying to a lot of the, volunteers that we have overlap are on both, panels or both committees. So, but, they do a great job. I have to give them a shout out there. We have a really good committee, a really good board, and, they do a lot of great hard work,
yeah,
for us putting all this together.
that's awesome.
Tabor and Russell and those guys, but, yeah, Kelly's got us she's got definitely got us, in line right now, so,
Mhm.
yeah,
I
she's the
believe it.
boss. Yeah,
Oh, I believe it, I mean, because just that little bit for the panel, she was
yeah,
on top of it, and so especially with, the burnout, like, there's so many different details to make sure that you're staying on top of
absolutely.
for it
I
to
don't know
run
how she does it.
smooth.
I really don't. I know she's trying to run a company and then also help with our deal. I told her when she took on this project, it was a lot more work than she probably anticipated, but she has not complained. I mean, she has taken it on. I mean, yeah, she's done a great job. And
Very
she's a lot of the reason for the success. And I mean, I do have to kind of go back to, the origin of kind of when we started really growing and seeing the growth in the Basin Burnout was when we hosted it at the tailgate here in Midland the first year back in 22, and I kind of have to give a shout out to them. That's my youngest brother's little project there with him and our
That's an awesome
yeah,
spot.
yeah. They've been really trying to bring a unique type of business to the Permian Basin, holding events outdoor and everything, and they've done a great job. And
Mhm.
they were really good to us, the first 2 years, and again we outgrew that venue, and but they've been a bit integral part. They were a big part of our event this past year. They provided all the bar services for us and the VIP experience, and so they continue to be a big part of the burnout. So
That's cool, and, like, really, like, bringing it all together,
yeah,
and, I mean, that's just, like, so much of what's going into all of this. It's just there's so many different ways that people are involved, and it making it so special in
yeah.
this community.
Absolutely. I mean, the reason why, I started the PBADD was, selfishly, it was to kind of get my name out there. I mean, I came from a totally different industry back in 2012. The company that I worked for, Directional, took a chance on a guy that was a pharmaceutical sales rep for
Oh,
7 years
okay.
and knew nothing about directional drilling. And so this provided an opportunity for me. I've been in the community since 1996, and so I knew a lot of people, but I still needed to get my name out there in the directional drilling business industry, and it was a great way for me to do that. And I've served as president since 2016. No, 2014. Sorry, it's been
Absolutely.
10 years.
Like these organizations are the way to network.
Yeah,
And I mean, it can grow and branch off and provide more avenues, but you had to be known first before you could offer a platform or, something for other people to be known or to really be able to let it grow like it has. But
yeah. I partnered with a gentleman that was at an operator, oil and gas operator, and so we were able to kind of parlay that into getting. Actually, we didn't start it off as the Permian Basin Association of Directional Drilling. We were a chapter of another organization for the first couple of years, and then decided that hey, we can maybe do this a little bit more our way and a little bit better and a little bit more Permian
okay.
focused. And so with this, when we branched off and or went away from that and did our own deal.
Mhm.
And that's in 2016 when it came to the PBADD. So
Yeah, because the Permian is such a unique place.
this is water, right?
Yeah, it is. The Permian is such a unique place, but it's like sometimes those chapters, like if they originate here, you
Yeah.
get the heart of the Permian. But if it's a chapter that is, based out of Houston or Dallas,
Those
and
Houston guys don't know the
y-
Permian, right?
yeah, it's I mean, like there, it has its differences, and so
Sure.
it's like being able to do things a way that is specifically just for the Permian, and you're not trying to, fit inside someone else's mold.
Absolutely. No, it's very true. In every industry that I've worked in, living in Midland, they unique. Everything's in the Permian is very unique. They don't know what to do with us out here. The Houston people don't know what to do with us. The Dallas Fort Worth people don't know. I mean, I even had a manager out of El Paso. They just didn't know what to do. So, yeah, it was important for us to make sure that we were focused on Midland, Texas, and what the
Yeah.
Permian was doing, right? Because
Yeah.
this is the hub.
Oh,
The hub.
absolutely. I mean, because even as I've branched out my show and I'm recording in Fort Worth and I'm, starting to kind of get further out into Houston and Denver and,
Right.
other oil field hubs. And like you have different parts of the oil field, the oil and gas industry in these areas, but none of them are like the Permian.
No,
And so for me, and I mean, I'm
where they
definitely
call it the patch now.
the patch.
The patch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I am, I cut my teeth in the field and I know the Permian very well. I've seen it evolve. And I think that's why I felt like I wanted to do something, to kind of highlight this region
Sure.
because I have seen it grow and evolve. And I love that, where it's like, it's not just business as usual. And I mean, like anywhere there are bad actors,
Sure.
there are, headaches and frustrations, and we still have plenty of room to grow. But we're thriving in so many ways,
Absolutely.
and it's a world of its own, and so for me, as I integrate the rest of the industry, I mean, the Permian Basin is still it's the mecca, it is home base, it's
Everything is.
everything flows into and out of.
That's exactly right. No, I say they don't know what to do with us. They know what to do with us, but it's just interesting. It's trying to figure out how to make the Permian work for a lot of these big organizations, because we do drive so much business out of the Permian. Majority of the drilling's done out here, and so, but the Permian people are special people, and that's why the things that we do, we wanted to make sure that we supported everything that was about the Permian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Basin Burnout, it's coming up
it
March
is.
28th, 29th.
Yeah.
Still plenty of room for
Plenty
to
of
get
time. I
involved.
say that I woke up the other morning about 3 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat, trying to figure out how much stuff we have left to do, but we'll get it done. Yeah, come and see us. We it's pretty affordable. I think the tickets for the all day event are $50. You get to come in, you get all the free samples that you want, from again 30 to 50 cooking teams, and then if you want to just do the concert at night, we have special tickets for that. I think it's $30 until the day of. So yeah, it's great, and veterans get in for a discount. So come see us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, basinburnout.com.
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I will be there
All
judging,
right, I'll
trying
hold you
out all
to
the
it.
barbecue.
That's right. Come hungry.
Yeah, I will. Thanks again for coming on the show today,
Thanks for having
Mike.
me. Yeah.
You bet.